Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and germs, and fellow real estate enthusiasts? Today I wanted to get into this past year we've had, 2022. It's been an interesting year with rising interest rates, the supply and demand changing in the real estate market, and people kind of sitting on their thumbs, like wondering what to do. But I can tell you this, there's a lot of people out there that I know that are making actions, that are taking steps and buying deals and growing and preparing for 2023. So I want you guys to be in the same position, but also take some learning lessons from 2022. We'll look forward to 2023 in a future video. But there's a lot of good things to break down before we get into that. So let's get into first. So this one is something I noticed early on, especially as deals got harder when rates went up. So those who focused on their brand and or their operations did well in 2022, especially the second half of it, because it's seen a big slowdown. When deals become scarce, those who had been leaning into relationships, to jumping on new opportunities, they did really well. And those who looked inward and making their actual businesses run better and smoother and more profitable have done really well, especially over the second course of this year. This is from Fortune 500 companies all the way down to solopreneurs. The second one is that the desperate got hurt this year. People who overextended and chased deals with low margins because they had to keep the deal flow going, or just keep up with their overhead, or maybe it was their hubris. It forced them into deals that aren't making money, or worse, they did unsound business practices or even things that were outright illegal to keep that machine going. There's people I know being indicted and going bankrupt, and people losing money, and a whole lot of people not making as much as they'd have you think. With what they put out. So think of what happened to Zillow a year ago. They got crushed because the algorithm that they were using to value houses just didn't make any sense. They lost a bunch of money because they overpaid on homes all across the country and then had a bunch of debt on their balance sheet that they couldn't move. And the same thing happened with smaller operators and some really big operators that you might know. Number 3 is have more reserves than you think necessary. Don't take cash out of the business until those reserves have built up. This year we saw insurances go up and inflation made everything more expensive. So our expenses personally ended up being a lot higher than we had hoped, especially in some markets. And we got ahead of ourselves. We took money out just to put it back in. So avoid that stress and manage your cash flow well. For me, being in the short-term rental business, this is especially important because we have high variance in monthly income based on our seasonality. So when we get into the low season and then Airbnb bust hit, it was a double whammy for us, and I wish we had those reserves. And this leads me into my next topic for number 4. Dig your well before you're thirsty. So this was the advice that was given to me by Brandon Turner at the Maui Masterclass back in September, and it's something that stuck with me. He told me this really good story about the first time he raised money. It took him, a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of relationships, and almost didn't raise. And this was $3 million that they were trying to raise. And then in like quarter 2 or quarter 3 of this year, they raised $40 million. So think about the difference there over just a couple of years, over 10x the amount of cash was able to raise. And that was just through evergreen processes and content and building the relationships and putting the things out there. This is, I think, prevalent for me looking to raise more money for short-term rental deals and real estate deals in the future in the coming year, and bringing more money partners is make that stuff happen now by doing those processes up front. Tip 5 here is the point isn't always to outsource yourself out of the business, but to elevate your skill set by honing in what you're good at and becoming the best at it, and then outsourcing the rest so that you can be your best. I want to spend my time pushing the business forward and doing the high leverage activities within the business that I actually enjoy. And doing that allows you to have a better handle on your business, lead people better, and just overall grow and scale faster, opposed to taking the lazy, get myself out as fast as I can approach. For me, I don't want to necessarily not work, but I want the option not to work. And when I do spend that time, I want it to be the things that I enjoy and that can really push things forward. All right, so there you have. Those are my top 5 tips looking back at 2022 and lessons learned, both from discomfort and learning lessons the hard way, but also just really good advice and surrounding myself around the right people, learning those little tidbits that have made a big impact on me personally, and that I think will continue to going forward. And also just aggregating, this past year and looking at, what impacted me, what I noticed from other investors, conversations that I've had, because this is, a space I spend a lot of time talking about, thinking about, reflecting on, and hopefully that helps you guys take lessons away, to kind of plan for your next year going forward. Like, what was the big trends here? What were the cause of the bigger things happening, and how can I prepare for that? So hopefully this video was helpful from that perspective. If you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe, and keep bringing you good content. I think the next one will be something related to 2023, our plans, what I see, and then maybe how you can make some moves yourself. So until then, have a good one.